Okay, let's skip to 106 of the 7th chapter of the first part of the Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Aho bhāmini jānīhi tattan mama mahā-sukham mahimāpi samam hitvā tasthau tatrocitāspade. O willful woman, please understand, all that I relished in Vraja gave me the highest pleasure. And through the glory of those times though the glory of those times has now abandoned me, it still resides in that most worthy place. Purport. By saying this, Krishna admits that he's not as happy in Dwarka as he was in Vrindavan. He cannot feel fully satisfied when separated from the gopis. Om Jnana Timirandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chaksur Unmulatam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Mano Bhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vanshakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhayevacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivas Adi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So, greetings from Nava Nalachala Dham, Brick, New Jersey, where I'm staying. And we're up to a very dynamic point. It's almost the culmination, because this Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta, again, it's the mission of Lord Chaitanya, is described by, I think it's Raghunath Das Goswami. And I quoted this verse many times. Anarpita tridim charat kurunaya vatira kalo samarpyatun unato jvala rasam swabhakti swayam. Samarpyatum, his mission is to give unato jvala rasam, this rasa that's the most brilliant, swabhakti swayam, which is his own bhakti of himself. I think it's in the CC that Lord Chaitanya came. It's Krishna who wanted to taste his form and his ecstatic love. So it's God's own bhakti, which must obviously, because it's dealing with the Supreme, must be the height of bhakti and therefore the height of pleasure, because it's the essence of the Ladini Shakti is Krishna Prem. So that's his mission, to give it to us, to give it to the world, to taste it. And he gave that mission to Sanatana Goswami. Sishis means one who takes the mood of his guru. So his mission, and we've discussed many times how challenging this mission is, because it's something that even bewilders Krishna in the Parayaham. I cannot repay the gopis. Their love is so great. And by prayer, he's empowered to explain this point through a very wonderful story of Narada looking for the topmost recipient of Krishna's mercy. which somehow in the whole story and intrigue, and I explained it many, many times, and I don't really, because it's basically the same audience, that point is coming down to Krishna returning to Dwarka from New Vrindavan, Nava Vrindavan, where he was tricked by Lord Brahma to think it was the real Vrindavan, to relieve his sentiments, his devastating sentiments of separation from the residents of Vrindavan, which put him in a deeply unconscious state. And this was Lord Brahma's plan to revive him. And the queens of Dwarka were hiding behind the trees because the plan would be ruined if they was there. Krishna would know that he's not in Vrindavan if they were there. And they saw the level of his love for the gopis when he woke up in his half-dazed consciousness and saw the statues of the gopis there, so perfectly constructed by Vishvakarma. They saw the love in his heart, and they saw his beauty, because one's beauty is their love. Your beauty is as a friend, your beauty is as a mother, a father, a disciple, a teacher, a lover. That's our beauty. Our beauty is our personality. That's why Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, because he's Akila Rasamrita Murti. He's the full embodiment of love, the full sense of that. So they saw that. They didn't see that because as queens, there was some kind of formality that's not there in the Parakiya Ras. And they weren't envious, rather they were ecstatic to just see their husbands even more beautiful. But somehow in Satyabhama's rasa with Krishna, her love for Krishna, and it's a flavor of devotion, it's not anything mundane. Rasa takes different shapes. And when we see it manifest in this world, variety is the spice of life. So it comes from the ultimate spiritual world, where that variety is in different flavors of love, and even in different relationships with Krishna, there's different types of love, there's different types of friends. There's friends that are older, there's friends that are equal, there's friends that are junior. There's different types of servants. Even Kaliya has a seva bhav. It's a fear. It's some kind of ecstasy that he surrendered to Krishna out of fear. There's the controllers of the world, like Lord Brahma, different types of friends. There's intimate friends like Raktak and these people who, or servants, excuse me, they're all servants. That's the dashiras. And there's two types of dashiras. One is anyway, there's many types of servitorship. Even Uddhava has a flavor of servitorship that's called parishad, the confident servant. There's the controllers. You're working in God's government. You're in the mood of servant. But Satyabhama has this conjugal mood of kind of contrary love. And it's not just an intellectual thing, let me serve Krishna by this. They actually become absorbed in that type of mood. And somehow or other, the foundation of it, even though it somehow seems rude or selfish, somehow when we ever deal with the spiritual world, it's all born of prema. And it's hard for us to understand because these same emotions from us are born from false ego. But it's born from prema. And she actually feels that way. So she's upset when Krishna comes back to the palace. The other queens are happy to greet him, where's such a mama? And then Krishna becomes upset and calls her. And then really in anger lets her have it by telling her how displeased he is with her for not appreciating the level of love of the gopis. And he said, whatever they desire, I'll do. I'd even go back in a second. I'd leave all of you in a second for the gopis. In a second. But I don't go back because their love is so great, and their separation and that kind of half-consciousness waking them up. They'd see me, they would be a shock. They wouldn't be able to do anything. They may get worse. He just explains, their love is so great, I can't even go back. And then describing their pain, it's always this counterintuitive sentence that comes, and this is their transcendental ecstasy. And don't try to wrap your mind around the spiritual world by how the laws of material nature work in this world. That's illogical. That's illogical. Well, why this, and this, how can it be this and that and this? Because it's God. And God can do anything. And for his love and for his pleasure and for his pleasure of the devotees, he can have this drama where simultaneous moods exist at the same time, and there's a prakat, an uppercut, there's a manifest, there's an unmanifest, and they're existing at the same time, and there's no separation, but there is separation. And that's, the Ishopanishad says it best, and I quote that verse, Tarejati, Tadnaijati, Tadure, Tadvantike, Tarantarasya Sarvasya, Tarusavarsibar. Walks, does not walk, near, far, inside, outside. So he explains, and then he looks at her and says the ultimate devastating thing that you say to your wife. And you want to know the only reason I married you? And then he describes how they resemble the gopis, and he was in separation from the gopis. So he married 16,108 queens, who happened to be expansions of the gopis, but not in the Leela. He's not thinking that way. I marry because they remind me, and bhāmini because they remind me. So anyway, it's again, Sanatana Goswami through this story hitting the point. There's nothing more exalted than the love of the gopis for Krishna. Nothing compares to it. It's not even close. And then these verses, jānīhi, please understand, bhāmini, a willful woman. Wow. I didn't know what that meant. I just looked it up. Willful means intentional, deliberate acts of damage, showing a stubborn and determined intention to do as one wants, regardless of the consequence of the act. Aho, bhāmini. It's so heavy, My God, Krishna would definitely be censored, man. He'd have no chance. What kind of thing is that to say to your wife? Jānīhi, please understand. Tat, mama, of all my mahā-sukham, highest pleasure. Now in America, there used to be MAGA, Make America Great Again. now when Robert F. Kennedy Jr. joined Trump, they now have things, you'll see it, it's Maha, make America healthy again. And if you believe what American food is, Jack and myself, we watched this one thing, and about this top scientist in Stanford. I forgot what it is, and she was a surgeon. And then she just discovered, like, wait a second, how come in the universities there's not one doctor learns nothing about nutrition? Because sickness is a business. And then she described the history of it. When they started cracking down on the tobacco companies were thinking, how are we going to make money now? Because you have to put the Surgeon General's warning that it will cause cancer. Otherwise, when I grew up, everyone in my family smoked, and then they had to stop. It was good. My father smoked, and my grandfather smoked, and they had to stop. So how would they get the money? They bought the agricultural businesses, and then the same scientists they were using to get people addicted to cigarettes, they started to get people addicted to processed food. And the tobacco companies, there's a history in processed food. And where there used to be in America, like, 5% chronic illness, now 60% of Americans have chronic illness. And when, autism was 1 in 1,300, it's 1 in 22 in California. And it's all started with, whatever the case is, the poisons of the food. I don't know how I got it to that point, but you remember?
Maha.
Oh yeah, okay, I got it. So then, RFK Jr., whatever it is, he is on this thing of health and everything, whether you agree or not. But so they started make America healthy again. So there's a Maha movement now in America, a Maha movement. Oh, willful, please understand that of all this, mahā-sukham, the highest pleasure, mahimā, and the glory, the mahimā, the glory of that hitvā, it's given up, that glory, it's given up, has abandoned me. The glory has hitvā, has abandoned me, tasthau, and it stands there in the most worthy place. The mahā-sukham, Krishna is saying, it resides in the most worthy place, which is in Vrindavan. And saying that, what is it? It's 2.5 weeks. I'll be in Braj. But when you go and you know you're going to stay for 6 months, there's a demand to enter. I get to some holy river, pond, kund as quickly as I can. Otherwise, it's just chitratri chitrai ruchayar viharai ananda patodi tarangamagnai nagyash sisham ratri dinani tani tatan maha mohana lokasangat. When submerged in the waves of that ocean of ecstasy, enjoying the ever-fresh, charming pastimes of Vraja, I was so attracted to each of the all-enchanting residents that I never noticed the passing of nights and days. It just gets more and more. It's Braj, it's Vrindavan, it's higher, it's exalted, and it's so indescribably delicious. unbelievably high. Purport, Krishna's Vrindavan pastimes are chitrati, chitra, more charming than any other attraction. They can attract the mind of everyone in the universe. Thus, the time and place of those pastimes are uniquely sacred, and the spiritual potency of the devotees who take part in Krishna's sports in Sri Nanda Vraja is impossible to measure, for those devotees enchant Krishna himself. So, chitra, charming, ati chitra. So, the word chitratri, chitra, this word ati means unlimited. Like this Maharati can fight with 1,000 people. Atirati, unlimited. So ati is unlimited. So it's chitrati, chitrai, charming and more charming. Ruchirai, attractive, viraha, of those pastimes. And when submerged in the ocean of the ever fresh pastimes, submerged, na agyashisam, I was not aware of days and night passing, because I was so attracted to the mahā-mohan loka sangat, the sangat of the loka, of the people. Mahā-mohan, they're so madan mohan, mahā-mohan, unlimitedly bewildering me and attracting me. The loka sangat, because of the association of those residents, I was so attracted that I never noticed the passing days and nights. Balya krida katukanai vatete daitya shreshta maratha kaliopi dushto nirdam yashu Isarito tasthau savyedhari govardhanasa. As the simple delight of my childhood sports, I killed various eminent demons. I quickly subdued the evil Kaliya and sent him into exile. And in my left hand, I held Govardhan Hill. So it's always nice in these pastimes, even Krishna book with the gopis start to imitate the pastimes of Krishna. They're right, and it's interesting because there's one like Putana. One gopi becomes Putana, and the other gopi sucks her breast, and then you have all these kind of pastimes. But Kavi Kanapur explains that actually, it's somehow or other, it's Krishna manifest within those gopis. He kind of manifests in the gopis because they can't have Putana Bhav. But still, you see, and then you remember all the pastimes, and it comes up in several places that they're just remembered. Just like in the third canto, when Vidura meets Uddhava, and then they start, about remembering the pastimes. It's like that because then it serves as Udipan. Udipan is like a match for your bhakti. Just lifting Govardhan Hill, killing Kaliya, various demons. There's a book, Hamsadutta. The book Hamsadutta is written by Rupa Goswami. Somehow before he met Lord Chaitanya, and it's so rasika. But Hamsadutta means the messenger, the swan messenger. And, the story is that Radharani, went to the Jamuna or something, and then she saw a pastime place of her and Krishna, and she fainted. I think Lalita then went to get some water to revive her, and then Lalita saw a swan, and the river is flowing from Vrindavan to Mathura, something like that. So gave a message to the swan for Krishna. And the swan obviously was going to pass Keshi Ghat and Kaliya Ghat and all the different. So you get a review of the different pastimes. So it's just beautiful how this is constructed. Purport: someone may suggest that Krishna's childhood pastimes may still have been difficult since he had to struggle with many demons and exert himself to kill each of them. Not at all, Krishna replies. Killing those demons was child's play for me, like a baby playing with dolls. The friends of Kamsa were not mere human demons like Shalva and other demons who Krishna would meet later, but were powerful mystics who could change their forms as they liked. Putna, for example, turned herself into a beautiful woman, though in fact she had a stone-hard body that stretched for 12 miles. Krishna in Vrindavan, however, was not an ordinary child. He easily killed demons like Putana, and he playfully brought the fearsome Kaliya under control. Krishna trampled each of Kaliya's many hoods, deprived him of his sovereignty in the lake of the Jamuna, and sent him into exile. This was mere child's play for Krishna, and so too is lifting the massive Govardhan hill with his left hand. For young Krishna, nothing was ever fearful or laborious. He took delight in everything he did. Tadrik santo sharnave ham namagno yenastrotam kurvatam bandhanam cha pramadinam bhashane darshane cha manvanogam vyasmaram devakrityam. I was so absorbed in that ocean of contentment that having to talk to such demigods as Brahma and watch them offer me prayers and homage seemed a painful disturbance. I forgot the work I had to do for the demigods. Purport: again and again, demigods and sages like Indra and Narada had matters to discuss with Krishna. But Krishna considered their visit unwanted distractions from his pastimes with his friends. He didn't even want to think about the promises he made to the demigods before descending, that he would dispose of evil kings like Kamsa, who were a troublesome burden for the earth. So yeah, love is more pleasurable than control, although most of the world thinks control is more pleasurable than, not most of the world. Most of the world actually thinks that. But the controllers, they think that's more important. So Krishna doesn't. He thinks love is more important than control. He's not interested in management and the demigods coming to him. Rupena Veshena Ravamritena Vamsyascha Purvanuditena Vishvam Samohitam Prema Bharena Kritsnam Tishtantu Dure Vrajavasinaste. My beautiful form, my dress, and the nectarian sound of my flute never before heard enchanted the whole universe with overwhelming love of God. So what to speak of how these affected the residents of Vraja, the residents of Vrindavan. What I did enchanted everyone, the whole universe. But what to speak of the personal associates who are with me every day? Krishna has unlimited associates, but he's God, so he can manifest with them. I read in one commentary, that Krishna can, I think I'm going to sneeze, something went in my nose. It's like, ooh. Krishna picks every flower that's offered in Vrindavan. And when he comes to the forest, they all bloom. So there's an experience that's eternal of being picked by Krishna and offered in love. It's eternal. And that's another reason why it's hard to understand Krishna's pastimes just from a mundane world of cause and effect. Because they all have they all happen eternally, and yet they're sequential. How is that possible? How is it not possible? Purport: Krishna's beauty never diminishes even when he leaves Vrindavan to reside elsewhere for more than 100 years. Only in nostalgic retrospect does Krishna think he was more beautiful during his youth. But because of Vrindavan's special sweet mood created by the spontaneous attraction between Krishna and his devotees there and nowhere else, Krishna feels free to add certain items to his appearance, like the peacock feather in his hair. So that's my point. How can you have a conception of God without a peacock feather? It just doesn't make sense. God has to have a peacock feather. It's just so charming and so beautiful. He has to have a peacock feather. Of course. And only in Vrindavan does Krishna play his flute. Thus enhanced, Krishna's natural charm allures the entire world, creating a transcendental taste that defeats all kinds of material enjoyment and is millions of times more relishable than the impersonal happiness called Brahmananda. Everyone in the universe can taste this highest bliss of Vrindavan by hearing about it from scriptures like Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta as presented by pure Vaishnavas. Thus, the supreme bliss of Krishna consciousness, as presented by pure Vaishnavas, is available anywhere. Still, those who can live directly with Krishna in Vrindavan and relish his association not only with their ears but with all their senses are certainly fortunate. So it's available just by hearing. It's relishable. But what about all your senses? What about hugging Krishna? Seeing Krishna? Learned scholars of the Vedas therefore conclude that the greatest perfection of life is to follow successfully in the footsteps of the Vrajavasis and in course of time be invited to take up residence in the Vrajavasis' eternal abode. Brahma, Rudra, Indra, Chandra, the Siddhas, and other demigods moving in the sky were overcome by changes aroused in them by the current of ecstatic love. So too with the cows, bulls, calves, and wild beasts, the trees, birds, bushes, creepers, and grass. The rivers were overcome, and the clouds, and all other beings, both moving and non-moving, alive and inert. Each of them underwent a transformation by which their own nature changed into a nature just the opposite. So it's just describing the ecstasy in Vrindavan, that the rivers become frozen, the stones melt, everything becomes opposite because they're transformed in ecstasy. Ecstasy doesn't keep you the same. It transforms you. Purport: even the demigods to the blades of grass, every living being present in Vrindavan to see Krishna present was ecstatically transformed. Even non-moving living entities gained consciousness and underwent these effects of prema bhakti. It'd be nice, Jack, when you come to Govardhan, huh?
Mm-hmm.
like a commando raid just for a few days, but really just in ecstasy. In the sky above Vrindavan, celestial persons often gathered to watch what was going on, including not only the chief demigods, but also the sages, Gandharvas, and Vidyadharas. They and the residents of Vraja were so powerfully affected by the constant flood of prema that their natures were changed. Those who were accustomed to stay in heaven were attracted to come down to the earth. Brahma and the other prominent demigods, the wisest and most respected authorities in all elds of knowledge, lost their discrimination and became like simple fools. Yeah, when I was in Russia, I went to one place, right? And, I'm American. We're like, we're like, we hug everybody. We, hello, So I don't know, there was one leader and I hugged him and he was like, right? He was like, what's going on, But they told me after my class, which was like Rasik with like Leela, he was like a child. So I was happy to hear that. I didn't know he was like one of the leaders and a little different. So your nature changes by ecstasy. In the sky above Vrindavan, celestial persons often gathered to watch what was going on, including not only the demigods, but also the sages, Gandharvas, and Vidyadharas. They and the other residents of Vraja were so powerfully affected by the constant flood of prema that their natures changed. I already read that. And the cows and other animals who normally roamed in the fields seemed to achieve samadhi, the culmination of mystic knowledge. So that, those animals stood still like immobile plants, where the actual plants, the trees, and the bushes and creepers became like animals, trembling and moving about. The lifeless rivers and lakes became as if alive or flowing with ecstasy. They sometimes stopped their currents completely and sometimes flowed wildly. And in the sky, the wind-blown clouds became fixed in one place, assuming the roles of umbrellas, shading Krishna and his devotees from the sun. These wonders are described in the Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta, the 10th canto. So now there's a verse. O pious Mother Soti, your son, who is expert in all the arts of herding the cows, has invented many new styles of flute playing. When he takes to his flute, to his bimba-red lips, and sends forth the tone and the tone of the harmonic scale and variegated melodies, Brahma, Shiva, Indra, and other chief demigods become confused upon hearing the sound. Although they are the most learned authorities, they cannot ascertain the essence of that music, and thus they bow down their heads and hearts. Bhagavatam 10:33-14. Etat satyam asatyam va kalindi prichatam miyam yanu vraja janaswara virharananda sakshini. You can ask Kalindi. So Kalindi is one of the queens, but she was the Jamuna River. So she has experience. You can ask Kalindi whether or not this is true. She witnessed the blissful pastimes freely enjoyed by the people of Russia. So you get this image of love in Dwarka being a little bit more formal, ram, bum, 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 ba-da, little reverence and things, and it's so beautiful. Just like, when you watch like the Queen of England passed away and the pageantry and everybody's marching, and there's so much love. When the Queen died, there was so much love for her, and the pageantry and how it works, and it's so many different. So it's a flavor. But the rural pastoral Vraj with the rivers flowing and stopping and animals being stunned and cows, and Brahma and Shiva acting like little children, and just a flow. So, purport: no one should think that Krishna, out of enthusiastic love for his devotees, is speaking exaggerated praise of them. Queen Kulindi could vouch for the accuracy of what Krishna has said about life in Vrindavan, because she was there in the form of the river Jamuna. Sri Jamuna, being the sister of Yamaraj, the king of religion, always speaks the truth. But I could not arouse the same emotions now in the relatives of the Yadavas, either with joking or with entertaining pastimes. Here in Dwarka, I found it difficult to break the jealous pride of the queens like you. Embarrassed, I've therefore put aside my dear flute. Jack, imagine when you retire, you can just listen to this all day, right?
Yeah.
Harikatha,
Can't wait.
I know. Also, what I did and how I lived in Vraj, there seems so far away that with you I cannot even speak of those things. Just one person, almost as dear to me as the devotees of Vraj, will be able to describe these topics. Sukadev, the son of Badarayana Vyas. By the power of his great love in the mood of the Vrajavasis, he will speak something of those matters to his excellent disciple who resembles him in spiritual qualities and whom I once brought back to life. Wow. Okay, we only have 160. Yeah, we only have about 40 verses left. Okay, let's, this was so much fun. My God, what descriptions here. Jamunajaya, are you there? You can start with some note you took there.
Hey, Krishna Raj. Thank you for class. Yeah, this was really wonderful. I just really relishing the concept of how much Vrindavan, what you said, ecstasy transforms one, and to think about everything being inanimate and then coming to life, and that's the opportunity that we have. That the love of Krishna really, they talk about the transformation of the heart, and here it was. It's like the plants, like and everything coming to life is such a beautiful image.
Jamunajaya, I have only one doubt.
Yes, Raj.
When you go to Vrindavan, you'll become stunned and stop dancing. Your nature will be, you don't want your nature transformed though, right? I don't think it, I think it'll make you dance more wildly. That's what I think.
That's my prayer, Raj.
Okay. Gail, you have anything you want to share?
Not so much, but did I hear properly that Lord Brahma put Krishna into a deep state of unconsciousness? No,
No. What happened is Krishna overheard the Dwarkavasis with Uddhava and also Balarama, Rohini, and Satyabhama and Devaki having this argument whether or not the residents of Vrindavan were fortunate or not because of their deep suffering and separation from Krishna. And Krishna woke up and he began to inquire when he understood even deeper how much they're suffering, and he couldn't go back. He fell unconscious. It wasn't Lord Brahma, no.
Yeah, Krishna. No, I thought I heard you say that it was Lord Brahma who.
Well, maybe I said it, but if I said it, it wasn't.
Okay.
Correct.
Yeah, it was also nice to hear your translation of Ati, because when you said it was like something like inconceivably like over the top type thing.
Right. Yeah, unlimited.
So I immediately thought of now your disciple's name makes more sense to me. Ati Sundari Radha.
Okay.
Yeah, Rasi. So the servant of she who is unlimitedly beautiful.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Okay, nice. Thank you.
Thanks, Gail. Anybody else like to say hello?
Hare Krishna Gamaraj, it's Lal Govinda.
And Vraja, thank you for class.
You calling me?
Okay, Haribo.
You calling me?
No.
Oh, Shameshi?
No, Gail, you're still online. Okay.
You don't have it?
Okay. I don't want to hear arguing with the daughter.
The one that I usually keep there?
Okay.
I have.
All right. Nice to see you guys. Okay. Haribo.
Thank you.
Anybody else say hello?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you for class.
What did you say?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Haribo. Haribo. Ishvari. Haribo. Anybody else?
Hare Krishna Gumaraj, Tota Gopinath here. Great to hear from you.
Haribo. Haribo.
Hare Krishna.
Shonik, I see you on the road there, huh?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, yes. Thank you
10
for the
hours
class today.
10 hours a day hearing Krishna-katha, right?
It's nothing better than to drive around, getting to listen to such wonderful times.
Okay.
We don't need that maha in our life, right?
Okay.
Very
Okay.
well.
Right. Okay. Anybody else?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Thank you very much for the class. Yavat Sundari.
Give it Sundari Haribo. Yeah. So, Irati's in Spain somehow, so we're not getting the full technological.
Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else?
Krishna Maharaj, this is Krishna-katha. Thank you so much for the class, for such wonderful deep emotions. Thank you. Great.
Okay. Okay. One more? Okay. I'm just going to look down the line, see everybody.
Maharaj?
Hare Krishna.
Oh,
Sorry, Radha.
Hare Krishna. Okay.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, this is Hemalata Radha.
Haribo. Haribo.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Thank you so
Great.
much for class.
Let's see where. Okay. Yeah.
Maharaj, Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
I forgot one thing actually. You know, when you were.
And you also forgot to mute your phone. But anyway.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I unmuted it by accident.
Yeah.
When you were saying that, you know, how could Krishna be without a peacock feather? I know you were glorifying the charm of his personality, but when you were saying like that, what did that peacock feather mean for you while you were saying that?
It means that God is that being of which no greater can be conceived. So if you can conceive of any divinity, I can conceive of something greater, one with a peacock feather.
I know, but that symbolizes something for you.
It's bhava. Not everything is tattva. It's rasa.
I know. I wanted to hear the bhava, Maharaj.
Okay, thank you. Okay. All right. I'm looking down the list. Wow. Okay, I'm seeing everybody that's there. Thank you all for coming. Vanchakalpa tarubhyascha kripa sindhu bhayeva cha patitam